Yes, we are continuing under price theory. We are still considering price theory. As I have been saying, and I still say, it is a very long topic which you have to handle slowly and carefully because it is the basis of economics. If you don't master it, then other topics will not be friendly to you. So at this time, we want to look at something called equilibrium price. Equilibrium price. Equilibrium price. That's what we want to, and sometimes we add on equilibrium price and quantity. Equilibrium price and quantity. So we looked at under the price theory, we looked at the demand theory, and we exhausted much of what is covered under demand at this level. And then my colleague also handled what we call supply theory. Now we are going to combine the two, that is supply and the demand. Whenever we talk of supply, we are talking about producers. And when we talk of demand, we are talking about consumers. So the producers, sometimes we stop them with the sellers. The producers or sellers have to come together in what we call a market. These ones meet in a market. Sometimes in economics we say market does not mean physical location, but it means where sellers and buyers meet. So we say they meet in a market or meet in a market situation. Now when we bring in that word market situation, it actually means that you are not meeting physically, but you can meet either on phone, you can meet by writing letter or mean documents, so that you interact, you come together and interact. So when we bring in the supply, when we meet in the supply, definitely we are talking about sellers, we are talking about producers. These are the people who make commodities available, goods and services available. They go, get raw materials, get factors of production, produce. After producing, they become suppliers. These very suppliers, they are not producing for their own consumption. No, they are producing for the market. They are going to sell these commodities in the market. Now that they are going to sell in the market, who is going to buy? The person who is going to buy, or the people who are going to buy, are the ones we call the consumers. And those ones in economics are the ones who constitute what we call the demand side. So these ones produce the goods, but these goods must be taken by the producer, the consumers. So the consumers are readily there in the market, waiting for the goods. Or the producers have taken the goods to the market, and the consumers come to buy the commodities. So they meet in the market. And I said, once they talk of meeting in the market, it means they physically meet, they physically interact. The consumer this side, the producer this side. If they don't meet in a market, that is a physical location or physical meeting, they meet in a market situation. I have produced my goods are at home or are in the a store somewhere and I call, I know there is a demand, somebody may need these goods, so I make a call. By making a call to a potential consumer, I'm actually creating a market. I'm establishing a market. If I call somebody and say, yes, I would like to buy those commodities you are selling, then we have not physically met, but we have met in a market situation. Market situation means where buyers and sellers interact on either phone or documents, but not physically. But all the same, the seller has met the consumer. The producer has met the consumer. In other words, supply has met demand. When these two groups meet, there is what we call discussion of what we are saying. This one has to explain what commodity has produced, so that he makes this person demand the commodity. And when we talk of demand, it means the producers put up the commodities, and at the same time he has to talk to the consumer to do what? To create the willingness. And the person he has called, who he has made, is able. He has the ability to buy the commodities. He is willing. What he's trying to work on is the willingness. But the ability, he has known that this group of people can buy my product. So the ability is there. Now he is talking to the consumer to create willingness. And after the willingness has been there and has been created and the ability is there, then you are going to have the effective demand. Now, to reach the effective demand, it means that this person has been convinced that this commodity is good, or he was convinced before and he started looking for the commodity. Now, when they meet, the producer and the consumer, there is a price, because this one has bought the commodities for a price. He wants income. And this one already has his income, and that is the ability. So you are working on his willingness such that he can part away with some money. Now, the money, how much you part away with, and how much you part away with will depend on what the producer is willing to accept his commodity to go. That's what we look at, and that is price. So it means when they meet, this one will be having his price, how much he's willing to pay for that commodity. And this one is also having his willingness to part with the product. You will not just say 1,000 shillings and he gives you. No. He has costs he has made. He wants to make a profit, and he has made some taxes here and there. So there is a price he wants to be paid to part away with those commodities he's selling. At the same time, the consumer is also saying, no, I'm only willing to buy these commodities if the price is this much. So the two have to finally meet. And where they meet, where these two meet, that is where we have the equilibrium quantity and the equilibrium price. So we begin by looking at what is equilibrium price. Equilibrium price. What do we mean by equilibrium price? We say that equilibrium price is that one which the quantity that is demanded is equal to the quantity that is supplied. This is the price at which the quantity demanded is equal to quantity supplied. That is the equilibrium price. We see that price where the producer has accepted, I'm ready to part with my product at this price. That price he has said. If that buyer, that is the demand side, is willing to take that commodity at that price of the producer, now that is the equilibrium price, where the two meet, the supply and the supplier and the consumer. Now we have equilibrium quantity. Equilibrium quantity. What is equilibrium quantity? This is the amount of goods. This is the amount of goods that is bought and sold at a equilibrium price. So here we say it is the amount of goods, that are sold and bought at the equilibrium price. At the equilibrium price. So we have established the equilibrium price. That price, the quantity that is demanded and that is sold and that is bought. When you say sold, that is produced, and what is bought is the demand. So where these two meet at that price is what we call the equilibrium quantity. So it is very, very important to know these definitions, because if you don't know them, it means that you will not establish that point on a diagram. So price, we have said, this is the price at which the quantity demanded is equal to the quantity supplied. That will establish for us the equilibrium price. The same here, equilibrium quantity. So that point where the two meet, we are going to establish the price. And the quantity where the two meet is the equilibrium quantity. And that is very, very important in economics. So, as we say, most of what we look at here under price theory, not all, but most of the things we look at have diagrams. So we now draw a diagram to establish so point E. So in this case, point E indicates the point E, which is this one. Oh, I've used the capital. Point E indicates the equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity demanded and supplied. So this is the equilibrium quantity. How is it the equilibrium? Because that is where the supplier is willing to supply along this line, this curve. So you can supply from here at different prices, as we saw in the supply theory. You can supply along that curve. The consumer can demand along that curve. But where they intersect, that is the price at which these people can sell. This is the quantity that the supplier is willing to sell and the consumer is willing to buy at that price. So the quantities may be exceeding or may be less, but at that point, it is equilibrium. Nobody is complaining. They are both satisfied. I mean, when I say both, the supplier and the consumer, the seller and the consumer, they are both satisfied that at that price, this supplier can supply this, and the consumer can demand this. That is what we call equilibrium quantity and equilibrium price. That's what we have as the equilibrium quantity and the price. Now, at this moment, we are going to have another terminology which is called the market price. Market price. What is a market price? Because we have looked at the equilibrium price. Now we are looking at the market price. I've put it here so that, below here, before we remove the equilibrium price, as we get the definition for market price. So we say it refers to the ruling. This refers to the ruling or prevailing price for a commodity at a given price in a given time. So when we talk of market price, we are talking about that ruling price, prevailing price in the market. This price is the one which is taking place in the market at that particular time. That price which is ruling, we call it ruling. It's a very important word to note. Ruling or prevailing. That is the market price. But you have to know this prevailing price is the one which is ruling at a given price and a given time. These are very important words or terminologies. You have to know that is the price which is ruling for that commodity in that particular time and at that particular price. Yes, that is the market price. What is the quantity? How much are you going to buy? That one, it might be the equilibrium here. But the ruling price, now the market price may have various factors influencing it, away from the equilibrium. So we can say market price can be below or above the can be below or above the equilibrium. Can be below or above the equilibrium price. So market price can be below or above. If it is not below or above, it can be at equilibrium. Then that means the equilibrium price will be the market price. But we can have the market price below. We can have either having it here, market price, or above here, market price. It can be below or above. When it is below, and that is the market price, if it is below the equilibrium, it means the suppliers, the price is low. The suppliers are willing to supply this. And those demanding, they are willing at that price to supply that. That's what we are going to see. That is market price is below. The moment it is below, it means that the supply will be, as long as it is below the equilibrium, the suppliers will reduce what they are going to supply. And the consumers will say, oh, the price has gone down, the demand will be high. But that will be the supply price. It is below. You may go to the market, you are selling tomatoes. You may find that yesterday or 2 days ago, the equilibrium price was 2,000 shillings per kilo. But today, because the supply has reduced a bit, the demand has gone up. You are going to find that because the suppliers have bought a lot of tomatoes, the price may go down. Now, what is ruling in the market at the moment is the market price, which is below the equilibrium price. And someone will say, yesterday or the other day, we are selling these tomatoes at this price. And that has been the price in the market. It has been the equilibrium. But now the suppliers have brought in a lot of tomatoes. The price has been forced to go down because they brought in a lot. The demand for commodities has gone down, has increased. So the market price has gone. Market price has gone down. That is the market price. It has gone down below the equilibrium. The moment it goes below the equilibrium, the suppliers will definitely reduce their supply, though it will force the demand to increase because of the law of demand. And here it's because of the law of supply. The lower the price, the less the supply, or the lower the supply. The higher the price, the higher the supply. So that is the situation you're going to have. So market price can exist above or below the equilibrium price. That's what you have to know in economics. And what does it mean? This one is the ruling or prevailing price in the market. It's the price that is prevailing in the market. It may be below the equilibrium, it may be above the equilibrium. That's what you, as a student, you need to know. Because the moment you